So firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Sean McCarthy and I work for Shropshire Council, and I am responsible for the Armed Forces Covenant. So I'd like to welcome you here on behalf of Shropshire Council. Thank you for joining us. This is the first virtual group Armed Forces Covenant signing in the West Midlands. Firstly, I do need to ask everyone is happy for the meeting to be recorded. If you can just sort of nod and just confirm that you're happy with that. Thank you. With us today are John Kennedy, Chair of Shawbury Parish Council, Rachel Griffiths, Director of Home Instead, Senior Care, Hayley Norgrove, Operations Manager of Dawson Training, Kelda Wood, Founder of Climbing Out, and Jim Prescott, Director of Ball Sports Limited. Also representing the Armed Forces, we are delighted to be joined by Group Captain Chris Mullen, who's the Station Commander at RAF Shawbury. Welcome to you all. As way of introduction, I would like to start by asking each of the signatories to say a few words about their organisation and what signing the covenant means to you today. So if we could perhaps start with Kelda first.
Yeah, so Climbing Out is a national charity. We run 5-day outdoor activity programmes aimed around rebuilding confidence, self-esteem and motivation post mental and physical trauma. I have a background of working with the military, and I think we've been aware for a long time about the value of these programmes to people who have been serving. And so it's an absolute honour and privilege to link up and be signing the Armed Forces Covenant. And we're so looking forward to being able to offer places on the programmes to both serving and veterans, and really hope that it can make a big difference in their recovery.
Thanks, Kelda. John, if we could just hear a few words from yourself.
Yes, hello. Yes, Chairman of the Parish Council. We've got a big military, shall we say, on the Parish Council itself. We've got 5 members at the moment who are councillors who are all ex-military, generally all worked on the camp here at RAF Shawbury. That being said, when I first started on the Parish Council 20 years ago, we had a ex-para who was the chairman of the Parish Council. So to that end, we've actually had such close ties as a community with the military. And that's not just the Royal Air Force, that's the Royal Navy. We have retired Royal Navy people in the community, as well as the Army. We go hand in hand with the Air Force. We work very closely together. We have a member from the station who actually comes to all of the Parish Council meetings. So that working hand in hand is that close liaison we've had all the time. As well as that, in the community, we have the cadet units, which we support fully. Many of the children go to the cadet units on the camp. National events, we can support those quite happily with the military. We can advertise, we can help, we can lend our support all the way through. So generally, as a community of 3,000 people, many of which, of course, even though they change now and again, are from the military, we're quite a big organisation. And if it wasn't for the military here at Shawbury, I don't think Shawbury would exist these days as it does in its present form.
Thank you, John. Hayley, if we could just hear a bit from yourself.
Hi, yeah, hello. My name's Hayley Norgrove and I am the Operations Manager for Dawson Training Limited. On behalf of Dawson Training, I'm delighted to be able to sign the Armed Forces Covenant within Shropshire. Just a little bit about us. We are a driver training company based in Shrewsbury with private driving test sites in Shrewsbury, Telford and Wrexham. We offer driver training from car up to full HGV lorries, and we can provide classroom training for first aid and driver CPC. We can offer a full range of options to aid employment for armed forces employees integrating back into the civilian society. We recently worked with a gentleman who had served in Afghanistan. He had suffered a through-the-knee amputation to his right leg due to an IED explosion. Our lorries are fully automatic, but we had to make adaptations to enable a left foot accelerator. We did this on both our rigid and Arctic lorries, and we're thrilled to enable him to obtain both of his licence categories to enable him to gain employment. We feel we can offer lots of options that can lead to different employment pathways. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayley. Jim, if we could hear a bit from yourself. Jim, you're on mute.
Got it. I think we're there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Jim Prescott, Ball Sports Limited. delighted to have the opportunity to be signing up to the covenant on behalf of Ball Sports Limited. Just a little history about the organisation. Started training in 2008. It was originally by my youngest son and one of his friends, primarily in sports coaching in schools, clubs, etc. Shropshire. The only award-winning sports coaching company in Shropshire today. Both my son and his business partner have currently gone off to retraining in other fields. And in 2019, I occupied the running of the business time, and we decided to refocus it away from day-to-day sports coaching in schools and focus now on a consultancy offering called events, training and mentoring coaches, and this is particularly the area that we are looking forward with veterans on, where we can train, mentor, support them into employment and monetary opportunities, delivering both sport and mental health support to children.
So I'm Rachel. I'm director and registered manager for Women's Care, and we provide companionship-based, relationship-led home care, enabling older and vulnerable people to live independently in their own homes throughout Shropshire. Very delighted to have covenant today. It endorses what we already do. We have and we do continue to support veterans. We also have employed military. We employ veterans. They have a lot to give because compatibility is very key to the support we provide. And what way?
Jim, ask you to mute your microphone. Perfect.
Sorry, sound went all strange.
Hi, Rachel. Yes, I think we were getting feedback from Jim's microphone. That was all. So
yeah,
I couldn't hear you either, I'm afraid.
Would you like me to say it again?
I would be delighted to hear it again if that's
yes.
all right. If you're happy with that, Sean.
Yeah. If you just carry on, make sure. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start again. So I'm from Home Instead Senior Care, and we provide companionship-based, relationship-led home care to enable older and vulnerable people to live independently in their own homes. Delighted to sign the covenant today because it really endorses what we already do. We have and do continue to support veterans, young and old. We have an example of a young gentleman that we've been helping to rehabilitate in Oswestry by getting him involved in the community again. We have employed military wives from RAF Shawbury. We also employ veterans, and they have a lot to give because compatibility is really, really important to us. And what better way than for veterans to actually support veterans that we're looking after.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Thank you to everyone for a brief introduction. I'd like to also invite Group Captain Chris Mullen to say a few words about RAF Shawbury and also speak on behalf of the Ministry of Defence and the links that they have within the local community.
Sean, thank you very much. And everybody, good afternoon. It's a real privilege to be able to speak on behalf of the Ministry of Defence today, and also to sign the covenant on behalf of the Ministry of Defence. But also beyond that, I'm really signing this on behalf of all the veterans who are out there as well, and that I'll touch on in a second. For those of you who know Shawbury, I know John Kennedy, you know Shawbury very, very well, and it's great to work with you in the ways that we do here within the village. We employ approximately 1,300 people here. About 55% of those are military, but of those, over a half of those military personnel, and obviously all of our civilian workforce, all live out in Shropshire. And therefore, we see ourselves very much as part of the community, and living to the community, as much as as taking from the community. And we're very conscious of that in the military environment and at RAF Shawbury, that we do create a bit of disturbance. Our aircraft are not as noisy as they were, but we do have a bit of noise disturbance in the local area. And we are very grateful for the community that offer all the support that enables us to do our job here, which is primarily training the personnel, training people to go into the Army, Navy and Royal Air Force as helicopter operators, and also into the RAF and the Navy as air traffic controllers, and the Air Force as weapon controllers and operations officers. So a vast amount of training goes on here. That is our real focus, preparing people for the front line, people that in now and in the future may look to draw upon the Armed Forces Covenant, whether that's in Shropshire or anywhere else around the UK. I have to say, I'm delighted to see more people signing today. And it's also an incredible diverse range of people that are signing this today. And yes, again, what I see consistent with Shropshire, who are an incredible supporter to the armed forces through this covenant, is that it's not just people signing, it's signing with action. And each of you today have described how the action will support the armed forces and the veterans within the Shropshire community. And I think that really is key, and that's what makes a difference in Shropshire, and which is why I'm always delighted to get the call from Sean or from Karen or Cindy to see if I can support you signing these covenant activities. It just gives it the right amount of publicity. And yes, again, what a great job done by the team. So thank you all from RAF Shawbury. Thank you from the Ministry of Defence, but also thank you for all the veterans in the community in Shropshire, which there are many thousands.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for those kind words. So just a little bit briefly on the Armed Forces Covenant. The Armed Forces Covenant is the nation's commitment to those who proudly protect our nation, doing so with honour, courage and commitment. It's a pledge that together we acknowledge and understand that those who serve or have served in the armed forces and their families should be treated with fairness and respect in their communities, economy and society they serve with their lives. Shropshire Council itself signed the Armed Forces Covenant in 2012, and our pledges are around instigating policy change that look to remove disadvantage for our armed forces community, ensuring families with armed forces connections are supported wherever possible when accessing public services from us and our partners, coordinating and supporting Armed Forces Day and other significant dates within the Armed Forces calendar, and promoting the benefits of the Armed Forces Covenant and highlighting how businesses such as yourselves and organisations can work with the armed forces to support the armed forces community. Across Shropshire, there are now somewhere in the region of 50 organisations who've signed the Armed Forces Covenant, from small to large businesses, to educational establishments, to churches, to charities, etc. And we are delighted to welcome you all to join us in becoming the latest signatories to the Armed Forces Covenant in Shropshire. I would therefore like to invite you to sign your respective copies of the Armed Forces Covenant. Group Captain Mullen, can you please sign all 5 copies? I'll now ensure that all signatories are married up, and you will shortly be receiving formal acknowledgement from the West Midlands Employer Engagement Team at the Ministry of Defence. You will also receive details of the Employer Recognition Scheme, which we would encourage you to apply for, and which we're happy to support you with this process. Finally, I would like to thank you all very much for joining us this afternoon in this unique virtual signing and for pledging your support for the armed forces community. It's greatly appreciated, and we look forward to developing this new partnership and including hopefully meeting sometime in the near future. Thank you.